Attention wrestling fans, you're in the blast zone for the only podcast where we blow kayfabe wide open and let you know what it really takes to become a professional wrestler. Presented by America's Academy of Professional Wrestling, this is the Buckle Bomb, and you're about to get blown up.
Welcome back, wrestling fans, to the Buckle Bomb, presented by America's Academy of Professional Wrestling. I am your host, Buck Bomber, and I'm on a bomb and run solo this week. Michael Arrow is out with the sick. So, joining us in the bomb shelter is once again John Warsaw.
What is up, everybody?
And after a long time, and I think a lost episode, ducking and covering under the table with us is Ollie Summers.
Hello, I'm the guy that loses episodes.
That's okay. We've got a lot of lost episodes lately. But all right, guys, how's wrestling?
It's great, man. It's that time of the year where, wrestling shows kind of slow down a little bit over the world. A lot of people taking care of bumps, bruises, enjoying little family time, holidays, hone those skills, getting ready for the new year to come back with a vengeance.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, I didn't think I had any bookings for the rest of the year. Turns out I'm working Thursday, which is cool. But so I was just like, I got nothing to do. I went up to Dallas on Saturday for MPX, which one runs weekly, just to get in with them, hang out. I know a lot of the people there. There's some shows that are running at the end of the year, so it's also the time where it's I don't got anything to do. I can go enjoy this.
Nice. You didn't randomly end up on the card?
No, not this time.
Gotcha. Hey, it's like a 50-50 thing,
Yeah, it's just getting your name there so they at least know that you're willing to drive 4 hours for them for no money.
Right, setting up some chairs maybe.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, that's what you got to do. It's what you got to do. So, speaking of things that you have to do and what's been done, it's pretty late in December. 2022 is coming to a close. We're giving it the go home. I like that. So how was 2022?
2022 was great for AAPW, I believe. Started off strong, finished even stronger.
Yeah, for sure. We've definitely been growing, and I think this is one of the first times that we started having comfortability stepping outside of some of the norms. We're stepping up a bit as far as the production goes, as far as changing up our promo styles, even the willingness to have a storyline where Pops isn't in charge anymore and that go on for a couple months and just kind of rock and roll with that. I think that shows that we're willing to step out of our comfort zones and to really challenge. And we got a really good crop of people that joined and are starting to make their debuts and starting to get up there.
Yeah. AAPW is pretty consistent on the number of students we had this year. I know in years past we've had some times where it's 7 people and we're what's going to happen to AAPW?
Yeah.
But I feel all this year has just been a big full class every time.
It has been, and throughput, because like you said, sometimes it's 7 and you're maybe we'll get 2,
Well, and I remember at this time last year, whenever it was, Thanksgiving was coming up until the new year happened, those classes, even when we had, 20 students or whatever, we'd have 5 show up and it would be okay, well, do whatever. But today it's mid-December and we've got a solid amount of people in the class right now that are still showing up, still willing to work on stuff, still trying out new things. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, that Ollie Summers guy is always here.
Yeah. I got a key now.
Oh, nice. That's cool. Because you're an assistant coach now, right?
Something like that. I'm also just here because I have time to be here, so I am able to open up early. I think it's really something that I value is being able to open up early for people that are willing to get here early and willing to stay late, because that's, I think, what helped me a lot is I would come really early, train with Adam, train with Zach, train with Steve-O, and stay 2 hours late, show up 2 hours early. And I think that's what really helped me and all of the Culture Shock guys to kind of improve at the rate that we did.
True.
And I believe when you were coming early and staying late, you were quite a bit of ways compared to how you are now.
Oh, I sucked so bad.
Oh, I meant travel.
Oh, yeah, that too.
But yes, I think you've come a long way as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, actually, pulling it outside of the school a little bit, this has been your first year being out there working. And as far as AAPW graduates go, you know, you're in the what do I want to say? The subset of guys who, you know, get booked.
Mm-hmm.
You know, get booked often. You know, you're becoming a road guy.
Yeah,
Always out there.
definitely trying to. I got to work a lot of Texas. Like, someone that was here said the question to somebody of like, "Are you a professional wrestler? Like, where have you been?" And it's funny because I started thinking about it. It's like, well, I've been all the way south to the border, all the way to the north, Oklahoma, the east, the west, the center, Houston, everywhere. And it's like, oh, wow. Like, I have really been a lot of places, just in Texas, and then like one show in Oklahoma, and I've done one show in Arkansas. But like, it's cool to be able to take a step back and be like, oh, this is actually really cool that these places in all these different cities were like, hey, come to our show, we will give you money.
Right.
And it's been cool to just have that experience of the different fans and the different reactions and trying to figure out how to make people like you or hate you or feel something at all.
Right. It's all about feeling something. And see, the thing about it is Texas is like the size of 4 states.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's harder for people in Texas to get out there more because of how large Texas is.
100%.
For sure.
Like, you know, you can be just going to Laredo or go into what's a place past like DFW?
Sherman.
I was gonna say Munster, but I'm like, I don't think Munster has ever had a wrestling show.
Yeah, because if you talk to guys who like work the Northeast U.S. or even like the Middle East U.S. and it's like their Texas is like 5 or 6 states,
Right?
You know, and we're like, oh, I'm going to work, San Antonio, Houston, and Laredo. And that might be more driving than the guy who's like working 3 different states.
Yeah.
Right.
Them driving 4 hours is 3 states away. Us
Exactly.
driving 4 hours is, I got a Dallas booking.
Right. The next
Exactly.
big city.
Right. Yeah. So, but we put this big emphasis on getting out of state. When it's like, well, a guy at the other tip of Texas has heard of me, wants to be on his show. Yeah, it's about the same distance, but we still put that big emphasis on getting out of state.
100%. And I think that it's and I've heard this from people that have like gotten out of the state or like traveled or gotten signed or whatever, is like there's this stigma that Texas is a black hole for wrestling. And I think some people interpret that as like Texas wrestling is bad, and I don't think that's true. A lot of people from the surrounding states, like Oklahoma, like Arkansas, they want to come to Texas because they're like, that's where talent is and that's where that is. But I think the actual black hole is people getting trapped there, getting trapped here and being like, oh, I can just work Texas all my life, but
like a mental prison,
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
But I think the thing is that like crowds are different and wrestling is different wherever you go. Even just the couple other states that I've been at, like it was a very different vibe in both of them. And so how can you really be a well-rounded wrestler if you're just getting satisfied with being where you are and just working the same types of crowds or similar types of crowds or what have you? I think the real challenge is getting out, like I said before, getting outside of your comfort zone and finding a way to make anyone like you or hate you or feel something.
Right. Because I was going to say, man, if anybody says that good wrestlers don't come from Texas, they're full of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Think about just in the past like 3 years, how many Texas guys are on AEW now?
Quite a few.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of Texas talent.
There's a lot of Texas talent.
I think the thing that is bad, or not bad, that gives Texas that impression sometimes is because it's so big.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, you've got, so in Texas, I kind of think of it right now, at least, you got Austin, you got San Antonio, you got Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, they can be the coolest dudes in the world to each other, but there's still kind of that, well, Dallas is better than Austin. Well, Austin's better than San Antonio. Well, San Antonio is better than Dallas.
There's the little bit of tribalism.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a degree of...
I talked to, some guys, especially from these smaller states, and there's kind of like that, the one main place in the state.
Right.
Where Texas is so big, I think everyone wants, no one's willing ever to give an inch like, oh, we're the best, we're the best, we're the best.
Yeah, there's a degree of separation where a state will unify other people, mentally due to size, it's like...
Exactly.
Yeah, it feels like they have an us versus them mentality, which is like, we want to show people that this state is the best. And we have an us versus them mentality of like, those guys up the road, we're better than them. Instead of
we're going to show ourselves.
Trying to lift each other up.
Right, but it's like, guys from every part of Texas starting to ball lately,
For sure.
Like, I'm going to put some guys over. Zane Valero was on Dark.
Zane Valero was on Dark.
Mm-hmm.
College Station.
And Shimbashi was, he got to be one of the guys.
One of the boys, yeah. Yeah, those guys, love them. They're doing awesome. There's a guy in El Paso area. His name's Cosmo Orion. He is so good. And, his willingness to pay for a flight to come to Houston to be on, the Contender Series, trying to get noticed for, New Texas or these areas, that's the type of person that I love, and the type of person I want to prop up is just someone that's willing to sacrifice and travel and try to just show that he's so good, because he is.
I think 2023 is going to be another big year for Texas wrestling.
Yeah,
For
definitely.
sure.
Who do you think's going next?
Getting signed?
Yeah.
Oh boy. BK, Brian Keith.
I can see that, yeah.
It's that question is so hard.
Right.
Because professional wrestling is not who's the best wrestler.
Right.
It's not who's the best gimmick. It's who fits what we want right now.
Mm-hmm.
True. I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, you know what? It's not about just who's putting that work in. It's about who's putting that work in and gets lucky.
Oh,
Yeah,
For
right
sure.
place, right time. I could definitely imagine someone like Brian Keith getting invited to one of those hard-hitting Japanese companies and doing tours and then being like, this guy's awesome, let's sign him. Luigi Primo, speaking of right place, right time, he is popping off. He's going to Japan. He's wrestling Shima. He has been to Canada this year. He's all over the indies, which he already was before he popped off from the Wrestling with Unicorns thing, but he's just continuing to grow and just putting in the work, trying constantly to get better and better, because he's got the awesome shtick and he's trying to not just be the shtick.
Right. Yeah, no, I've seen that. He's around here all the time.
Yeah. One of the hardest working people, just constantly trying to improve and constantly having ideas on how to make himself and his act better.
I mean, to me, it's admirable that he's from the outside, from way outside. I'm he's trying to catch up his in-ring work to his gimmick,
And I think that's self-admitted. I think he would tell you that, and I think he's definitely getting there. But
yeah,
the fact that he's got that gimmick, and I see clips all the time of him coming out in the crowds and everybody's just oh my god, it's the pizza guy, let's go. And now he's really, really proving that he can keep it past just, oh, that's the pizza guy, into, oh, I'm really enjoying this wrestling match as well.
Right. I think somebody like me, probably if I were the pizza guy, I would just say, fuck it, I'm riding out being the pizza guy. So props to him for sure.
Absolutely.
And you know what? If you did and you were, there would be nothing wrong with that. There is tons of guys right now who've taken a gimmick and worked 30 years with that gimmick and made a lot of money doing it.
Right.
So it's not necessarily a bad thing, and we shouldn't shame anyone for doing it, of course, because
or should we?
No, I don't think so, because that's part of what I love about pro wrestling, because you can have. Let me tell you this: if your thing was I'm a badass technical wrestler, I'm lightning fast in the ring or super strong, well, guess what? When you're 50 years old, people are going to look at you and go, he's, or 60 years old, whatever it is, put whatever age in. It's different for everyone. But they can go, he's just like a shadow of his former self.
Oh my God.
But I guarantee you, 50-year-old Luigi is still going to be spinning that pizza.
Friend of the show, Greenback, actually messaged me today about the one and only Greenback compliment that's ever been. He said that he liked the back clothesline that I do because I could still do it even when I'm 50.
Right,
and I can do
to
it to
anyone.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's pretty good, because the only compliment I've ever gotten from Greenback was this.
Hey, you didn't mess it up too bad.
Man, so we've pulled back kayfabe enough. Buck Bombers Greenback, but I super appreciate that, and I was actually going to bring it up too. I was like, oh man, we had a conversation about that today. Man, see, everybody always is like, oh, how'd it go? And it's like, hi, I got to make sure everything is running the whole time. I can maybe like see one or two spots, but now it's like I see the whole forest. I'm not watching the like Pops. Like after the last show, he was like, what'd you think? And I was like, what even happened? I was like, yeah, it was okay.
Well, speaking of that, how do you think 2022 has gone for you as far as running the production, because I know there were growing pains with it for sure.
Oh, a lot of growing pains.
But where do you think it is, like, now that we've had our last show? I think it's improved a lot. How do you think it's gone as far as that goes?
One thing we were definitely hurting on was sound for a really long time. I fell into this job in like May, June,
summer area,
something like that. I've been doing the flyers forever, but some people left, and some of them took their really nice equipment with them, which was theirs. So It's all good. It's all good. Take your stuff with you when you leave. So we were like, what in the closet still works? And I was like, hey, Pops, what budget do we have? And he was like, it translates really well onto the podcast.
He
just did a big shrug. And we've been working with that, but it's going pretty good, Shout out to Mac Monday. I know a lot about video, but I am the only person I know how to do sound for is myself and my setup at home. So he has been a big part of fixing the sound. But I hate to put myself over, but I have put in a lot of legwork as far as video stuff goes. Like we have promos now. We have the podcast again. Sometimes I just put up stupid highlights, put something dumb over it, and then it becomes our most popular video. So I think this year, I don't know, probably just put out more videos. And also we get another roaming cam. And also probably we need to actually like some people are against the idea, but I think we need to actually like integrate more that we are streaming this. Because how do other people how do they get big engagement? How do they get big money off it? You have to engage the audience, like the audience at home. I mean, we're not on TV where someone's just at a TV. We're looking at people who are on their phone, can interact and stuff like that. Right. I've had some pushback on that, but I'm in charge.
Are we going to get like you pay 500 bits and then they request a wrestler in the ring to do a flip?
I was thinking more like we could throw streamers for like $5.
That would be fun.
$5 and I just run out and throw a streamer.
That would actually be a good selling point that we should add to concessions is here's some streamers. Buy them for us. Throw them at your favorite wrestler.
That's actually a really good idea because you can buy a bag of streamers for like Pops. Right? Hold on. No, I was hoping we'd have a repeat because
we'll tell them in a sec.
My thing now, I don't know if anybody listened to the last episode, but my thing now is anytime we have a good idea, I now open the door and I go, hey, Pops,
good idea.
That's how we had the white elephant match because we were talking about like a Christmas match, and I was like, let's have a goddamn Christmas match, and then I was like, Pops, and then that's how the white elephant match happened, and it was a huge hit. White Elephant match went really well.
Yeah, I think like Chen and Houston Hendricks, and like those are the two that
It was Michael Arrow.
I'm aware, but
okay.
As far as 2022 goes, Edmund Thornton Chen and Houston Hendricks are the two people that come straight to my mind as far as like these guys are going to kill it. Like Houston debuted December last year, and this year has just been his rise, and I'm really excited to see where that pays off as far as going other places and succeeding here as well. Like he's young, so that might affect it possibly, but like you see people like Mia Friday who's also killing it, people like Billy Starks, Nick Wayne, people that are kids that aren't adults yet that are able to do this touring thing and are able to go to these shows, and I'm really hoping that'll be Houston as well. And then Chen, who's just like 3 months since he's debuted, I think, like has stuff to work with and everything like that, but like also super excited to see where he goes, because he's just like, he gets stuff like really quickly, and like you put him into a pressure situation like last minute, hey, here's a match, you need to bring fun weapons and like open presents and stuff, and partway through it you're gonna forget which presents are which, have fun, and he just like does it.
Yeah, no, he is definitely taken to this. Speaking of which, his parents were against it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so I saw his mom one time, and I was like, "You got it? Is there a Mr. Chen's mom?"
Man,
I know, it was a joke. But now that I know she doesn't support his wrestling, I'm just like, ugh. Hey, I'll lose my number.
Oh jeez.
I know. I joked with him about that for a while.
Maybe 2023 will be the year that I ask my parents to come watch a match.
Your parents haven't seen one?
No, for the first probably 8 months of me doing this, I did not tell them what I was actually going to do. I would tell them like, because pandemic hit and I had to move back in with my parents, as a lot of people did. So whenever I was like, I'm going to Austin, it's like, what are you going for? And it's like, the gym
stuff.
So eventually they found out, but like they haven't been verbally supportive or unsupportive of it, but I kind of want them to come check it out and see me, because I think that I'm decent now, and I think it would be fun for them to watch. And maybe this will be the day that I like bleed everywhere and break everything. So that would be fun.
That would be a good subject sometime to do family of the pro wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
I think we did one once, but I don't think it was very good. So it's definitely time to do it.
Like, unless your family's in the business, I always think everyone's family thinks it's like we're going to play fight with the kid next door. And, like no one really.
It's either that or the complete opposite, where they're like, you are going to take 3 steps and break everything in your body.
Yeah. I remember when I first wanted to become a professional wrestler when I was 12, my dad socked me in the mouth and said, "Is that what you want? You want that every day?"
Oh no.
I know, dude. I saw I had an earlier iteration of AAPW come to my middle school, and they were like, it was George De La Isla and Psycho Simpson and the Crusaders, and the Crusaders were like, "Yeah, stay off the drugs," and that's part of why I have stayed off the drugs. It's because I was like, 2 master wrestlers told me to stay off drugs, but I did. I was like, George De La Isla was like, "Hey, we got a wrestling." I don't know why I'm getting him that voice. He's like, "Hey, we got a wrestling school." I'm like, "You can go to wrestling school instead of regular school?" Yo, forget this.
Fair enough.
But yeah, my dad super wasn't into it. But I don't know. 4 years ago, when I was like, "Hey, Ma, I'm gonna stop working at General Motors and like start focusing on what I want to do with life."
And she was just like, "Great, I love that. Have a great time."
And she's like, "Phil." And I'm like, "Okay, here I go." But I think the last time my mom touched my pro wrestling experience at all was I think she came only to ever see like 3 shows.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a time where I fell out of the ring, and I was like, oh, she's gonna think I like died. But she was like, hey, you fell the way you were practicing, so I'm leaving.
Oh, good.
And I'm like, oh, okay,
Thanks, Mom.
right.
Had to leave before someone threw a kendo stick at her, as
Hey.
as AAPW moms are
Right.
prone to do.
Yeah, I remember. So when I first started wrestling, I was a good guy. So my family come, yay! And then I made my switch to bad guy, and I told them, I was like, guys, now I know you want to cheer for me, but you have to boo. And I really thought this would be an issue for them. And then they showed up with signs saying how much I sucked and everything else. I was like, well,
Just
that
bring
was
in deep personal failures.
yeah. I was
on
like,
your-
this is a little too easy for y'all guys.
Dude,
we had these prepped.
I do remember when you were debuting, because I was security at the time. As in just, hey, you have the most important job. Sit here and don't touch anything. And I was like, but I do remember the Warsaw family would show up in like full force, and I remember like I think it's one of your nephews. He was running around wearing an extra large Warsaw
He
shirt.
didn't want to be left out. Everyone had a shirt on. He didn't want to be left
I know
out.
he looked like the Warsaw Wizard.
Brilliant.
It was great. It was great. But yeah, 2023. What do you think's going to happen to the wider wrestling landscape?
I think we're still in a recovery period, or like getting out of it, where it's like, hey, wrestling's back, but we gotta kind of change up what we're doing as far as politically, as far as everything backstage. Obviously, with the pandemic and everything, kind of the whole landscape has changed in that way. And I think this will be a year of continuing to regrow and make sure people feel safe in every aspect of it, so that more people are willing to come and enjoy. I think there's always room to be improved in that aspect, is how can we, especially as heels, make people hate us or make people support the other guy without offending groups of people, or without taking the low road of calling people fat or calling people ugly. I mean, ugly is whatever. It's subjective, so people can be like, I'm not ugly, but if you say, hey, you're fat, it's like they might have deep emotional turmoil about that, and you might make them go from like, hey, screw you, to like, I don't want to talk at all anymore because now I feel bad about myself. So I think that just in the wider landscape, it's just constant improvement of how can we make these shows better shows for everyone involved, the talent, the fans, and everyone else.
Yeah, man, Hillary has always been, for me too, has always been kind of a, what can I say? What can I not say? What's too far? What's not far enough? You know? And I'm like, I don't want to let go of fat. As a fat guy myself, I'm like, I still want to call people fat.
Well, if you're fat yourself, it's kind of a pass.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does that give me?
It's not like the race card.
It makes people be like, hey, but look at you.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's kind of, it's like, you are all slobs.
But when it comes to like,
Especially when they're not as big as you, then it's really good.
when it comes to any kind of like hard isms, I'm just like, nah, gonna avoid that. Maybe once in a while, like a little implication, like hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
Hear me out. If I call drag queens a bunch of weirdos, is that too far?
I think that's subjective, so I don't know.
Well, okay, in Ollie Summers' opinion.
Yeah. Whatever.
Well, when Warsaw called those drag queens a bunch of guys in dresses,
He got beat up for it, I guess.
He did get beat up for it.
For the record, I just want to get this out there. My birthday was on the last drag show, not the one we just did, but the one in March. And you know what my one request for my birthday was, because I was still a heel, was to get beat up by some drag queens. And I was told no.
man,
And now Warsaw gets to
Well,
get beat up by some
when
drag
there's a
queens.
title involved that they can win, people get.
guess so.
I mean, they get the stars in their
I was
eyes.
probably tag champ at the time.
Okay. Well, here's another chapter of that story. The show you're talking about, the earlier one, there was going to be a spot where Greenback was going to get beaten up by the drag queens. We worked out a spot where Juan was going to pull out his fake boobs, get on the mic for a second and say he was going to breastfeed me a can of whoop ass and then beat me with his fake boobs. And I was like, man, this is going to be such a great clip. Let's go. And it just didn't happen. So hopefully in 2023,
we get to run it back.
I was going to say, hopefully in 2023, I can give a little more creative.
Pretty sure there will be more drag shows.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, but hopefully I can have a little more creative input because the white elephant match, the white elephant match worked.
It really did.
It did.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Yeah, 2023, they should bring back Greenback.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I thought he was retired.
Thought he was like just.
I heard a rumor that he lost all his money and that's why he's not showing himself up.
Oh no!
That he's
tragic.
Like, he's poor back now.
Dogecoin.
I think he invested in.
Yeah.
He invested in it.
Been there, brother.
It crashed.
It did, dude. What was with NFTs in the first place?
Well, NFTs are a different thing, and we're not going to get into it on this podcast.
Apparently, you've never listened to an episode of the Buckle Bomb.
Well, as someone that's listened to a 2-hour speech from Great Scott on the way back from a show about crypto and NFTs and stuff, let's not.
Remember when WWE tried to sell NFTs?
They still do.
I thought it tanked.
It probably tanked, but on the last pay-per-view, I saw them advertising it. They're called like Dropkick or something.
I know like a 1-of-1 Undertaker went for like $50K.
Wow, that is ridiculous.
I just remember John Cena in like, I forget what it was, but I remember John Cena coming up and getting on the mic at some event and being like, NFTs were a horrible idea. He's like, all the John Cena NFTs are now like worthless. And it's like,
fantastic.
They were always worthless.
But that was your worthless.
Maybe 2023 in wrestling will be the year of nobody going for any kind of virtual currency.
Doubt it.
RIP.
I mean, there's some merit to crypto. Just kind of I like how everybody's now looking at their phone. Jeez, but NFTs are stupid. Anyway. 2023. What matches you want to see here at AAPW? Well, I've got one. I want to see T-Ray versus Wolf. The Wolf NDA.
That'd be a slaughter. On one side for sure. I don't know which side, but it would be a slaughter.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just murder.
You don't think it'd be two big men slapping meat?
I think it would go for 5 minutes and it would just be someone just picking someone up and setting them down, picking someone up, setting them down for 5 minutes.
I don't know.
Straight.
I kind of think of T-Ray as a big man. I don't know if I think of Wolf as a big man.
Wolf's a guy with big muscles.
He's in very excellent shape, but he's not that big.
See, he's a regular-sized guy with big muscles.
Yeah.
I think he falls more into that category.
Yeah, like T-Ray is just big and thick.
T-Ray is a big man.
Yeah, in a good way.
Yeah.
I really want to see Ollie Summers versus anyone that's upcoming and good.
So you want ETC?
I do want ETC again. I did lose to him in a tournament match in 5 minutes. But besides that, I would love another match with him. I love a match with Houston. We've tagged a couple times now, but like I'd like to have a match with him. Jay Sky upcoming, pretty good. That would be fun. I also like that. One thing I really like about AAPW is that we use it as like it's kind of a nice land of opportunity. I just saw a picture of Roxanne Perez being like at an AAPW show, like as part of the show. And you got like that, you see that clip of Sammy Guevara and Ricky going through a flaming table. It's like AAPW is like a school show, but like we can get people here. So like I would really love to see upcoming people from other places also coming in and getting to, I like the idea that AAPW has a chance to shine a spotlight on people.
Right. We've talked about it on the podcast before. We often do like kind of sort of forget AAPW is a school show, and we have to kind of like Pops has to be pulled back sometimes. It's like, Pops, this is a school show. This is to put over the kids, get them some experience. But for a school show, we go pretty hard.
Yeah. I mean, what better experience is there than working really good people?
Yeah. And sometimes really, really good people.
I will say, school show, indie show, whatever you want to call it, AAPW probably has like some of the best storylines as far as actually following a storyline and a reason, instead of just this show I say I'm going to kick this guy's butt, so next show we're wrestling.
Yeah. From the Greenback's only ever worked one show consistently. From other places I've worked, we show to show, it was like, so everything from last show got dropped.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I ran out like 5 times, and now none of that matters. Okay. All right.
Or why are those two wrestling? Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. It's just opportunities.
Opportunities. True. Warsaw.
He's looking forward to continuing to hold his 24/7 title. And he's pretty confident he will go down as just a 17-time, because he doesn't think he's going to lose it again. Even though he's lost it 16 times.
Do you have it right now?
Well, I mean, it's underneath my shirt right now as I'm sitting here.
Okay, cool. It's hard to keep track because you lose it so much.
It's hard to keep track of any belt. Like, I have to, when I'm making flyers, I have to constantly be like, is this a title match? And then I have to go, who has the title?
Oh, that's one thing I'm looking forward to in 2023 is hopefully less title matches. Do you remember when there was like a period of a couple months where, 5 out of the 7 matches would be title matches? And it's like, I think it provides the opportunity, not having title matches, I think provides the opportunity to change up the match structure, because title matches have this like implied thing of like, this guy's the champion, therefore there's a reason they're champion. So you got to kind of change up the structure, and you can't just do the classic wrestling structure. Sometimes you have to make it clear that this is a fighting champion and they deserve this title and they've earned it, so they can't just get beat on the ground for 5 minutes at a time. So I think that's something that's good, is that we've kind of cut down the amount of belts that we have actively defended.
Right.
And so we can kind of change up the structures and let people experiment with different types of matches in that way.
I also think that we need more, like, I don't want to say gimmick matches, but we need more gimmick matches, because that always gets over. It always gets over. If we had like one per show,
I kind of like the holding back in either big storylines or that all-out gimmick show. I kind of like that.
We could have a little bit like in the in-between time, because we do like 2 hardcore shows, so like probably once every like 6 months or whatever. So maybe in that 3-month span in between, we could have like 1 or 2. But like, yeah, I definitely don't want to overload it.
Right.
For sure.
As I've always, and this is, growing up a little old school wrestling, it'd be, I wrestled Ollie, he won. We rematched, I won.
Steel cage time.
Now what are we going to do? A bull rope, which has nothing to do with the story, but for some reason, now it's for real.
My parents were killed by a bull rope.
Yeah, exactly.
that's why they never showed up to any of my shows.
Very true.
Loser loses their hair.
Loser.
Oh my God, it's such a bigger match now.
Loser.
Honestly, for me, I've actually put in the thought of like, how much would I charge a booker to have me lose a hair versus hair match? Because like, this stuff took a while to grow. It also cost me some money to cut and to like style and everything. So like, how much would I accept to get it shaved off? But I think it would be cool at some point. Like
$15 in a Pepsi.
Could you imagine, like, there's this girl in Stardom who had this really nice long hair, and she lost a hair versus hair match, so it got shaved all the way off, and then she started wearing like army camo stuff like that. And I'm like, could you imagine we do a across the universe. Ollie Summers, the hippie, gets drafted, and now I come out in army camo and everything.
Oh, complete 180.
Just like, not like my personality changed or anything, but I'm like the hippie that got conscripted, and like I have no choice but to wear this stuff now, and also I don't have the hair to look like a hippie anymore. But I'm still anti-war, especially anti-Warsaw.
Oh, you son of a...
The anti-warrior.
That was that was the thought, the immediate gimmick idea.
I fight for no fighting.
I mean, when you look at my gimmick now, it's like I'm all for peace and love. Also, I hit you so hard in the back of the head.
I fight to end all war.
That's it.
With war.
I don't wanna fight.
I'm Wonder Woman in the first movie.
With Warsaw.
War's bad and gay.
A Warren on Warren with Warren song.
Yeah, what does Warsaw even have to do with war?
It's a place in Poland.
Yeah, but I don't know. I've just always been like, there's nothing very war about him, though.
Oh,
Except
he
when
goes to war.
Except when I green screen. I can't remember what the movie is. It's public domain now, so I always just put it behind Warsaw in promos.
Saving Private Ryan?
No. Wait for it. I'm pretty sure Saving Private Ryan is definitely not public domain.
I mean, probably not, but it's like it's in like the Library of Congress or whatever. So like I figured something.
I think if I tried using it as the just filler for promo, that Tom Hanks himself would show up.
FBI will raid this place.
It'd be kind of cool though.
I mean,
In the middle of a show?
if your idea
AAPW hits the big screen.
as
Tom Hanks as Warsaw.
do we have time for me to tell a story from my childhood?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was in high school, 10th grade. I was in theater, and we were practicing for a children's play that we were going to tour on a couple of elementary schools. And we were doing really bad. So one day we were rehearsing in our theater class, and the bell just doesn't ring. It's time, bell does not ring. My theater teacher, her first reaction, you guys suck. This is awesome. We'll have way more. We got time to practice. We're not leaving until that bell rings. Don't care what's going on. So like an hour and a half later, we're still practicing stuff, and people need to pee. So she's like, okay, anyone who needs to pee, go, and we're on stage. Go backstage into the little room that we have that has bathrooms. And so people start filing out, and then I didn't have to pee. So I'm just sitting on the stage, and a bunch of guys with guns come in, SWAT or whatever. And I'm like, oh, hi, guys with guns that are pointed at me. What's up? Turns out there was a bomb threat.
Okay.
That we didn't know about. But now people are coming back to the stage from going to the bathroom, all the while getting guns put on them every single time someone new shows up, which is very fun and was a great experience for everyone involved, especially the people that were in regular classes and not the theater building, where they couldn't just go out to the bathroom because there was a bomb threat, so they had to pee in trash cans.
Man, so because America, I was like, there's only one way that this is gonna go, and something about it has to do with lockdown.
Yeah. Well, apparently it was even more metal, because apparently it was a fake bomb threat to cover up for a bank robbery. But that might just be high school rumors that I never looked into. But that would be pretty cool if it was.
True. Man, it is always weird. I guess it's better to call in a fake bomb threat than it is to actually blow something up, because I know when those guys stole the Rembrandt a couple of years back, they blew up a car. They blew up a car and they went in the museum and they stole some Rembrandts.
I just love that we're putting,
Quantifiers,
blowing stuff up, fake bomb threat. Yeah, fake bomb threat's better.
Yes, than actually blowing something up. I'll take
on the scale of heinousness.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, but wow, was the school next to a bank?
I don't think so. Well, you don't want it to be next to the bank, because then the police are right next to the bank.
Okay.
He's got a point. He's got a point.
True.
Yeah.
True.
It was just a fun day of a lot of theater rehearsing.
But knowing that, we were just talking about, a show getting rated, and then you were telling this story, I was like, Man, were you like performing for preschoolers and the show got swatted?
Oh my God, that would be the worst.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be terrible.
Because those kids are screamers. They'll just like your ears wouldn't survive even if nothing bad happens.
All that aside, do you guys think the future of professional wrestling is going to be bright in 2023?
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. In 2022, and I'm talking about the big screen, the big view of pro wrestling, which obviously right now is, in America at least, is WWE, AEW. At the start of 2022, WWE was the devil. AEW couldn't do anything wrong.
True.
Now, as we get through, and there's been some leadership change, AEW is like run by the devil, and WWE is so good now. So it's funny, but I'm trying to think, and my whole life, obviously, Vince has been in WWE. I don't think we've ever had a true worker or wrestler like in the position of power that they are right now, in WWE at least.
Right.
You know, AEW still the money guy, but it's just funny. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that brings. Will it be better? I don't know, but it even in indie wrestling and everything, stuff filters down, right? If we see it on the big shows, indie fans kind of want to see something from it too. So it does.
Right.
It filters all the way down to the lowest of low levels. So it's intriguing, and I don't have an answer for you if it will be better, worse, or the best thing ever, or better than 2022. I don't know, but I definitely want to find out.
Well, anyway, guys, the fuse is running short, so it's time for my favorite segment of the Buckle Bomb. ABP, always be plugging Warsaw. What you got?
Warsaw says just check out AAPW's social media. Got a lot of great stuff coming up from our content creator coming out. And get y'all ready for some huge stuff coming in January. Like that one match of, I guess y'all just have to go and see.
True. Ali?
At Ollie Summers on Instagram, at Ollie Summers Versus on Twitter that I never get on. I have Texas Contender Series on this Thursday, which will already be passed by the time this gets uploaded.
Yep.
I go check out the New Texas, whatever the show's called, on December 30th. I'm going to be there hanging out. I'm going to be debuting for Lions Pride Sports January 7th and their little Rumble thing. January 14th, I'm going to be in Oklahoma again. That'll be fun. January 21st, Slam Portal in Austin. That'll be a good time. I'm going to be in a boy band. And January 28th, I will be here at AAPW in Austin for the Al Snow, Doug Basham seminar and show.
Nice. Well, everybody, this has been another episode of The Buckle Bomb, and you have been blown up.